Ooh. Alright, what's going on? It's your boy Dom from the Petrol List, and I am just reacting to some footage of my last track day. Went really well. The Miata's tires really heated up really well. Falcon Azenis, I don't want to say 6600 or 600. Anyway, 200 tread wear. The suspension is dialed in. It has got just a little bit of rear slip, which I like to get the vehicle rotated. And as you can see from the horizon, this car corners incredibly flat. It is pretty low to the ground, so there's not a lot of shifting. These Track Dog Racing Ultra Sealed seats were really keeping me in place, gave me the confidence to corner, which you got to do a lot of in a momentum car like this. GR86 doing big things on the track. Huge wing, good amount of horsepower, and it was just ruling the day. Great chassis. I actually thought about getting one of those, but there's something about the utter rawness of the first two generations of Miata that I found really attractive. There's no traction control, no anti-lock brakes, barely any cup holders, and as you can see, I am definitely stirring my own gears. It does make for an extremely busy cockpit, but you really come away with the fundamentals of driving nailed. Now, the bad thing is it has 145 crank horsepower, so that's going to be about 115 at the wheels. It's I don't consider it a deficit until I get up to cars like this. I believe this is AMG was it AMG GT C63 or C63, whatever. Anyway, it's about 400 or 500 horsepower car, and you can just see these guys peel away from me at the corners, or sorry, at the straights, and then I catch them in the corner. So your windshield is always full of car as you approach the corner, and your rearview mirrors are always full of cars when you are approaching the straight. You can see there's a Mustang GT behind me in that right rear view mirror, or right side view mirror. I did feel bad for having to point at my mirror so much that it's just letting him know that I see him and that I will do something about his need to pass me as soon as possible. Now, on this track is only 1.3 miles, so while there are some straightaways, I was keeping good pace with the cars behind me, so it didn't really make too much sense to lift and give the point by at every single passing zone. So typically it was this one coming around the home stretch that I actually get my arm out the window and let the faster car by. The black Mustang is pulling into the pit, and now, at least for the next couple of seconds, it's just going to be me until a very interesting car comes up behind me. It is a Shelby Cobra replica. That thing was so fast. Modern chassis underneath, none of the nannies and bits that you don't want, and I think it weighed in at between 2,300 and 2,400 pounds. So at this point, it was probably only about 150 pounds lighter than the vehicle I was driving, but with a, I don't know, 400 or 450 horsepower engine. Amazing vehicle. But yeah, this was such a busy track. I didn't give point buys too easily, because I'm always going from the outside of the track to the apex, trying to keep that momentum up. So it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to pass. Coming up here, again in this back stretch, that is where I give the point by. It happened to be a a checkered flag by now, but I could see that the Cobra still had some horses to exercise, so he floored it on his way by. I'm sure he cooled off in the second half of the track. I am already in the cooling down phase, so let me just fast forward a little bit. Final thoughts here. The car did overheat a couple of times. Not catastrophically, obviously, but I did have to pull off the track mid-session. The stock radiator is about the size of a spiral notebook, so I've got to get that fixed. And then I actually do want a tall short shifter, because let me go back a little bit. To keep this car in the right rev range, I do have to visit that manual transmission shift lever quite a few times during the course of a track, and I do think I want the throws to be even shorter than the short stock Miata throws, and I would like to get that gear shift as close to the steering wheel as possible. So I will be looking into that. We'll be looking into radiator, and possibly this winter or next winter putting a turbo kit in it, because if I had a little more horsepower, these passes would stick, and I would really be able to get some pace versus slamming on the brakes. Well, not slamming, but lifting in places where I wouldn't usually lift. I think that is it. Just pulling out of the pits. Yeah, at this point I think I'm ready to let this engine cool down and actually drink some water myself. It was pretty hot out there. Alright, let me know in the comments if you like this format, and I'll do some more. I always take footage when I'm on the track, whether it's wheel-to-wheel racing or track days, so maybe I can start reacting to those when I get out there. Let me know if you like that. I'll do more. Honestly, it's probably going to be like between 4 and 6 times a year, because I don't do this every weekend. That's it. Looks like I'm out. Alright, talk to you later.